Believed to have existed near the Dead Sea, the kingdoms of Sodom and Gomorrah are mentioned in the scriptures of many religions, including the Old and New Testament, the Quran, the Book of Wisdom, the Torah, and the Hadith. Along with Admah, Zeboim, and Bela, the kingdoms of Sodom and Gomorrah were called the cities of the plain, and said to be green and lush. Though there are varying versions of this account, the scriptures state that Sodom and Gomorrah were judged by God to be wicked, and thus were destroyed by fire and brimstone, after the prophets were unable to find anyone in the cities who were not wicked. The man, Lot, was allowed to escape the city with his family, but his wife looked back upon the city, disobeying God's command, and was turned into a pillar of salt in punishment. Sodom and Gomorrah are equated in modern days as cities of extreme sin, most closely associated with homosexuality and bestiality. Indeed, the word sodomy has been coined to describe sex acts, including oral and anal, that are considered less traditional. The cities are cited as examples of the wrath of God, who saw them as so wicked as to be irredeemable. Indeed, scriptures are filled with stories of godly figures commanding mortal men, armies, or angels to destroy the wicked in some cases, while sinners are awarded with compassion and love in other cases. Scriptural references include many examples of God dealing dually in compassion and extreme violence. For example, in the New Testament, Christ saves a prostitute from being stoned, and withers and condemns a tree for not producing fruit. The same God that raises one man from the dead wipes out all of civilization with a flood. Sodom and Gomorrah are often referenced by religious organizations and even law and policy makers as examples of how God punishes the wicked in order to preserve the righteous. This often creates a conflicting message from religions who preach love and salvation, yet dictate punishment and destruction. The same families who praise God for answering their prayers and saving their child from cancer shrug at children being raped and murdered in war conflicts, saying that it must be God's will. The same churches who see smallpox as a terrible plague state that the AIDS epidemic was sent by God to wipe out the gay population. Many of the world's modern religions refer to homosexuality with hateful words like unnatural, deviant, abomination, disgusting, vile, or a crime against nature, often citing Sodom and Gomorrah of examples of how homosexuality is to be viewed. Some religions have encouraged parents to disown gay children, have encouraged opposite-sex marriages for gay people, have referred gay members to change therapy, have excommunicated members, and in the most extreme cases have encouraged murder or suicide. As religious cultures influence laws, this has led to many dangerous legal precedents across the world's governments, many of which have made homosexuality punishable by life imprisonment, castration, involuntary psychiatric confinement, torture, exile, and even death.